here we have the chapter 10 from the book Linguistics, A Complete Introduction by the author Horst Bay. The chapter is named Pragmatics, Say What You Mean. But first of all, we have to define what are pragmatics. Pragmatics are the subfield of linguistics that study the way in which the meaning is understood throughout how language is used and how words are expressed in a context. So, meaning in a context, okay? This meaning in a context, we can find cooperative principle and speech acts. In the cooperative principle is when the person that are interacting, they want to benefit from the interaction and are open to the communication. Without the speech acts are where someone wants to change the behavior of another person. So, Greer's theory of implication declared that previous definition that I gave you, but in other words. So, there exist four maximums of conversation. The first one is qualitative, the second quantitative, then relevance of manner. For example, in the case of maximum of qualitative is tell the truth, if we can say it in a colloquialism way, and don't use false information and use evidence for supplying your statement. For example, do you think that smoking is good for health? No, I don't think it's not good for all health because scientists comprovate that they provoke cancer. Maximum of quantitative. The maximum of quantitative is say as much as is necessary. Don't give lower information or too much information. It depends on the context, okay? For example, if your doctor is giving you information about your health care, he must bring you some details for your health, like medicine, like treatment. If he say you have cancer and that's it, that is a lower of quantitative. Or in the case I give you too much detail about what I did today, about the hour that I wake up, how long I walk around my house, so that is too much. Then we have the maximum of relevant. The relevant is stick to the point. What do you want to say? So, what do you like English? I like because it's an international language, because it's open to other words. Then we found that maximum of manner is be clear, avoid ambiguity. Okay, so I like chocolate because it's delicious and because it's my choice, and that's it. So here is a summary if you want to look at. But when someone don't want to be open to the communication, that is called the floating the maximums. So he broke some of that previous maximums that I mentioned. For example, a multimillionaire and actually penniless. So I avoid the quality information, the quality maximum, because I don't give it you the truth. So then we found when I am going to get back the money and I lent you, boy, it is hot here in here. So the relevance, why how will be more important than answering the question. And we found the case of flaunted, where the maximum are not too much infringing. So there is some level of cooperative. For example, if you ask me, do you like my jeans? And I say, yes, I really like it, but they are too short. So I am answer your question, but not providing you all the true in my information, because after using the but, I give you my real thoughts about it. And finally, the speech act is when we want to someone change their behavior, is by the Austin theory, and mainly the focus are the performative and consultative. And the performative, the speaker is performing an action while they are explaining, and the felicity conditions are who don't permit that affirmative communication. And we found the illusory acts, the illocutionary utterance, and the perlocutory act. So between this theory, we found the politeness theory, because that can be negative and positive. In the negative side is when someone doesn't want to respect their authority, and the positive is when we want to be a member of the group, so we are open to communicate. And the face treatment act. And finally, the question: it is important to teach pragmatics in class. How could you do it? So it's very important, because we are teaching a second language, and if some of our students, if going to another country, they must know how to communicate with the meaning and the intention what they are doing, because we must be clear and assertive about what we want to communicate. So how I can do that? I will to bring them role play situation for active and exercise that, and some, yeah, mainly that. Another example that they can be developed. So I think it is important, because they need to have empathy and be assertive in the communication. And not just for English, it's for life, because we must be assertive.